Proverbs chapter 25. These are also Proverbs of Solomon, which the crew of Hezekiah, the king of Judah, totally copied down. It's the glory of God to keep things mysterious, but the honor of kings to go searching everything out. The sky is mega high, the earth goes super deep, and the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take the gunk off the silver, and boom, a gorgeous vessel shows up for the silversmith. Remove the wicked from around the king, and his throne will be solid and righteous. Don't try to flex in front of the king or stand where the big deal people stand, because it's way better for someone to tell you, hey, come on up, than for them to be like, yeah, you need to go lower right in front of the prince you've been staring at. Don't rush into a fight, or you might not know what to do later when your neighbor totally calls you out and embarrasses you. If you've got beef, talk it out with your neighbor directly, don't broadcast their secrets. Otherwise, the one who hears it will shame you, and your bad rep will be impossible to shake off. A perfectly timed word is golden apples in a silver frame, straight, aesthetic goals. A wise person giving correction to someone who's actually listening is gold earrings and classy jewelry, super chic. A faithful messenger is a blast of snowy coolness during harvest, totally refreshing to the ones who sent him. Whoever brags about a gift they never actually gave is clouds and wind with zero rain. Big hype, no delivery. Patience can persuade a ruler, and soft, gentle words can break bones, in the good kind of way. If you find honey, just eat what's enough. Don't overdo it or you'll totally end up puking it back out. Keep your feet from camping out at your neighbor's house too much, or they'll get tired of you and start hating you. A person who lies about their neighbor is a club, a sword, and a sharp arrow, basically a walking weapon. Trusting an unreliable person in trouble is having a broken tooth or a sprained ankle, just pain everywhere. Singing happy songs to someone with a heavy heart is taking their coat in freezing weather or pouring vinegar on soda, awkward and harsh. If your enemy is hungry, give him food. If he's thirsty, give him water. Show kindness anyway. Because by doing that you'll heap coals on his head, and the Lord will totally reward you. The north wind drives away rain. In the same way, an angry face can shut down a gossiping tongue. It's way better to live in the corner of a roof than in a whole house with a woman who's constantly fighting. Good news from far away is cold water to a super thirsty soul. A righteous person who falls before the wicked is a muddy spring or a messed up fountain, just disappointing. It's not good to eat too much honey. In the same way, digging for your own glory is not actually glorious. A person with zero self-control is a city that's broken down and missing all its walls, totally exposed. Proverbs chapter 26. So snow showing up in summer or rain dropping during harvest? Yeah, that's how weird giving honor to a fool is. A random bird wandering and a swallow zipping around? That's how a baseless curse won't even land. A whip is for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and, like a rod for the fool's back. Don't answer a fool on his level, or you'll turn into his twin for real. But also answer a fool in a way that matches his nonsense, or he'll think he's so brilliant. Sending a message through a fool is chopping off your own feet and chugging disaster. Legs that don't work right? Yeah, that's like a proverb in the mouth of fools, totally useless. Tying a stone into a sling so it can't fly? That's giving honor to a fool, super pointless. A thorn stabbing the hand of a drunk guy? That's a proverb in the mouth of fools, chaotic and painful. The great God who made everything fully handles rewarding fools, and those who break the rules. He's got it all covered. A dog circling back to its own puke? Yeah, that's totally how a fool goes back to his nonsense. If you spot someone who thinks he's so wise, honestly, there's more hope for a fool than for him. The lazy guy's always like, there's a lion out there, like a whole lion in the streets. A lazy person turns over in bed like a door on its hinges, just back and forth, no progress. The slothful dude hides his hand in his hoodie and is too tired to even bring food to his mouth. The sluggard thinks he's wiser than 7 people who can actually explain things. Delusion much? Jumping into someone else's drama is grabbing a dog by the ears, 100% gonna go wrong. A wild, unhinged guy flinging firebrands, arrows, and straight-up death is like the person who deceives their neighbor and then is all, "Chill, I was just joking." Without wood, the fire dies down. And without a gossip, the drama totally fizzles out. Hot coals make more hot coals, which makes fire grow, and a contentious person is fuel for nonstop chaos. Gossiping words stab like wounds and sink way down into the deepest part of someone's soul. Burning lips and an evil heart? Yeah, that's like a cheap clay pot covered with fake silver, shiny but totally fake. Someone who hates will pretend with their lips while hiding deceit in their heart. Even if they talk all sweet, don't fall for it. There are 7 full-blown abominations tucked inside. Their hatred is covered with lies, but their wickedness is going to be shown to everyone eventually. Whoever digs a pit is going to fall right back into it. And whoever rolls a stone, it'll just roll back on them. A lying tongue totally hates the people it hurts, and a flattering mouth leads people straight into ruin. Proverbs chapter 27. So don't brag about tomorrow, because you literally have no clue what the day is going to bring. Let someone else hype you up, not your own mouth. Let a total stranger do the praising. A stone is super heavy and sand is wildly weighty, but a fool's anger? Oh girl, that's heavier than both combined. Wrath is harsh and anger is explosive, but who can even stand up against envy? It's next level intense. Honest, open rebuke is way better than secret love you from afar vibes. A friend's wounds are faithful and real, but an enemy's kisses? Straight up fake and shady. Someone who's full will turn down honey, but to the hungry soul, even bitter stuff tastes totally sweet. A bird wandering from her nest is a person drifting away from where they're supposed to be. Perfume and oils brighten your vibe, and so does the sweet, heartfelt counsel of a solid friend. Don't ditch your own friend or your dad's friend. And don't run to your brother's house when disaster hits. A nearby neighbor is way better than a brother who's far away. My son, be wise and make my heart totally happy, so I can clap back at whoever tries to drag me. A smart person sees danger coming and hides, but the simple just stroll right along and get smacked by reality. Grab the garment of someone who cosigns for a stranger. Take collateral if he vouched for a sketchy woman. If someone loudly blesses their friend early in the morning, it'll totally count as a curse. Chill, dude. A continual dripping on a super rainy day and a contentious woman are basically the same vibe. Trying to hide her is like trying to hide the wind or trying to hold perfume in your hand without it giving you away. Iron sharpens iron, and people sharpen each other when they hang out and challenge one another. Whoever takes care of the fig tree gets to eat its fruit. Same with someone who faithfully serves their master. They'll get honored. Just like water reflects your face, the heart of one person reflects the heart of another. Hell and destruction are never full, and honestly, neither are the eyes of humans. We're always wanting more. Silver gets refined in the pot, gold gets refined in the furnace, and a person is revealed by the praise they get. You could grind a fool in a mortar with a pestle like wheat, but his foolishness is just not going to leave him. Be super diligent about knowing the state of your flocks. Keep your eye on your herds. Riches don't last forever. And crowns don't pass down forever either. Nothing is guaranteed, boo. The hay pops up, the fresh grass shows itself, and herbs from mountains get gathered. Everything cycles and renews. The lambs give you clothing, and the goats pay for the fields. And you'll have plenty of goats' milk for your food, your household, and for taking care of your maidens. Proverbs chapter 28. The wicked totally freak out and run when no one's even chasing them, but the righteous are bold and chill as a lion. When a land is full of drama and rebellion, it ends up with way too many rulers, but someone with real understanding and wisdom can keep things steady for way longer. A poor guy who oppresses other poor folks is a gnarly storm that sweeps through and leaves zero food behind. People who ditch the law are cheering for the wicked, but the ones who keep the law totally stand up against them. Evil dudes don't get what justice even is, but the people who actually seek the Lord understand everything that matters. It's way better to be poor and walk uprightly than to be rich and totally sketchy in your ways. Whoever keeps the law is a super wise son, but the one who hangs with wild, out-of-control partiers, he totally embarrasses his dad. Someone who stacks cash through shady interest and crooked gain is basically saving it up for someone who actually helped the poor. If someone plugs their ears to avoid hearing the law, even their prayers are majorly cringe to the Lord. Anybody who makes the righteous wander into bad paths is going to fall into his own trap, but the upright will totally score the good stuff. Rich people might think they're super wise, but a poor person with actual understanding can see right through that ego. When righteous people thrive, it's an explosion of glory, but when wicked people rise up, everyone's, yeah, hide me, please. Whoever hides their sins is never going to prosper. But if you confess and ditch them, you totally get mercy. Happy is the one who's always humble and cautious, but the person who hardens their heart, they tumble into trouble. A wicked ruler over poor people is basically a roaring lion or a crazed bear, totally unsafe vibes. A leader who lacks understanding becomes a huge oppressor, but someone who hates greed will live way longer. Someone guilty of shedding innocent blood will flee straight to the pit, and no one should try to rescue him. Whoever walks uprightly will totally be saved, but the one who's shady and twisted will fall instantly. The person who actually works their land will have tons of bread, but the one who chases shallow people and pointless stuff will drown in poverty. A faithful person will be overflowing with blessings, but anyone rushing to get rich is not innocent. Playing favorites is seriously not okay. Some people will even sin for a piece of bread. Anyone who hustles to get rich fast has an evil eye and doesn't realize that poverty is creeping right up on them. Someone who rebukes others honestly ends up with more favor than the one who just flatters with smooth talk. Anyone who steals from their parents and says, "It's not even wrong," is basically hanging with destroyers. A proud-hearted person totally stirs up drama, but the one who trusts the Lord will be abundantly satisfied. Whoever trusts in their own heart is a full-on fool, but whoever walks wisely will totally be rescued. Anyone who gives to the poor won't lack a thing, but whoever ignores them will get hit with all kinds of curses. When wicked people rise, everybody goes into hiding, but when they're gone, the righteous totally flourish. Proverbs chapter 29. Whoever gets called out over and over but still stiffens their neck is going to get wrecked suddenly, and no fix is coming. When righteous leaders are in charge, people are totally vibing and rejoicing. But when wicked folks rule, everyone's just mourning. Whoever loves wisdom totally delights their dad, but whoever hangs with wild harlots is just blowing all their cash. A king keeps the land stable with good judgment, but one who takes shady gifts totally tears it down. Anyone who flatters their neighbor is basically setting a trap right under their feet. Evil people get caught in their own drama snare, but the righteous are singing and vibing with joy. The righteous actually care about the cause of the poor, but wicked folks don't even want to know. Scornful dudes can drag a whole city into mess, but wise people totally steer anger away. If a wise person tries to argue with a fool, whether the fool rages or laughs, there's zero peace. Bloodthirsty people hate the upright, but the just are actually looking out for their life. A fool just dumps out every thought in his head, but a wise person chills and holds it till the right time. If a ruler listens to lies, then all his servants end up wicked. The poor man and the deceitful man meet together, but the Lord lights up both their eyes. A king who rightly judges the poor will have a throne that's established forever. Discipline and correction bring wisdom, but a kid left alone is gonna embarrass his mom. When wicked folks multiply, sin just skyrockets, but the righteous will see them fall. Correct your son, and he'll give you rest, like actual peace, and make your soul happy. When there's no vision, the people totally lose it. But whoever keeps the law is super blessed. A servant doesn't change just from words. He might understand, but he still won't respond. See someone who's way too quick with their words? Yeah, even a fool has more hope than that guy. If you pamper a servant from childhood, he'll eventually act like he's your son. An angry man stirs up all kinds of drama, and a furious guy multiplies sin like crazy. A person's pride drags them down, but honor lifts up the one who's humble in spirit. Whoever teams up with a thief hates his own soul. He hears the cursing but won't say a word. Fear of people is a total trap, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe and steady. Lots of people chase a ruler's favor, but real judgment comes from the Lord. An unjust person is disgusting to the righteous, and someone walking upright is repulsive to the wicked. Proverbs chapter 30. These are the words of Agur son of Jacob. This whole prophecy moment he spoke to Ithiel, to Ithiel and Ucal. Honestly, I feel like I'm more clueless than any dude alive, and I totally don't have normal people understanding. I haven't even learned wisdom, and I definitely don't know the holy stuff. Like, who's gone up to heaven or come back down? Who scooped up the wind in his fists? Who wrapped the waters in a giant cosmic hoodie? Who set the boundaries of the whole earth? What's his name and his son's name? If you can even tell, every single word God drops is pure, and he's a shield for anyone who trusts him. Don't add anything to his words, or he'll call you out and you'll be exposed as a total liar. There are two things I'm begging you for. Don't deny them before I die. Please keep vanity and lies far away from me. Don't give me poverty or riches. Just give me enough to get by. Because if I'm too full, I might be like, who even is the Lord? And if I'm too poor, I might steal and totally disrespect your name. Don't rat out a servant to his master. He might curse you, and suddenly you're the guilty one. There's a whole generation that curses their dad and won't even bless their mom. There's a generation that thinks they're squeaky clean in their own eyes, but they're still totally filthy. There's a generation that's all we're so lofty and elevated, with eyelids lifted like they're too good for earth. There's a generation with teeth like swords and jaws like knives, straight up devouring the poor and the needy. The blood-sucking leech has two daughters screaming, "Give, give." And there are three things that never get enough, actually four that never say, "Okay, I'm full." The grave, a womb that can't conceive, the earth that never gets enough water, and fire which never says, like, "I'm good now." Any eye that mocks its dad or refuses to obey its mom. The ravens of the valley will snatch it out, and baby eagles will finish the job. There are three things that totally blow my mind. Actually, four I just cannot wrap my head around. The way an eagle glides through the air, the way a snake slides across a rock, the way a ship moves through the sea, and the way a man vibes with a maid. This is how an adulterous woman acts. She eats, wipes her mouth, and says, like, "I didn't do anything wrong." There are three things the earth just cannot handle, for it totally collapses under. A servant who suddenly becomes king, a fool who gets stuffed full of food, a hateful woman who's suddenly married, and a servant girl who displaces her mistress. There are four tiny things on earth that are insanely wise. Ants are tiny and not strong, but they prep their food in summer like total geniuses. Rock badgers are small and kind of fragile, but they build their homes in super solid rocks. Locusts don't even have a king, but they march out in formation like an army. And the spider, she's tiny, grabs things with her little hands, and yet she ends up chilling in king's palaces. There are three things that walk with major swagger. No, for that strut in total confidence. A lion, the absolute strongest animal, who does not back down from anything. A greyhound, a male goat, and a king whose presence nobody dares rise up against. if you've acted stupidly by hyping yourself up, or if you've entertained evil thoughts, just slap your hand over your mouth. Because just like churning milk makes butter and wringing the nose brings blood, forcing anger totally brings out strife. Proverbs chapter 31. These are the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy his mom totally taught him herself. What, my son? And what the son of my womb? And what the son I literally prayed for? Don't hand over your strength to wild women or your whole vibe to things that ruin kings. It is so not for kings, Lemuel, like not for kings to get into wine or for princes to get hooked on strong drinks. Because if they get buzzed, they might forget the law and totally twist justice for people who need help. Save the strong drink for someone who's seriously perishing and wine for those with super heavy hearts. Let them drink to forget their poverty and stop remembering their misery for a hot minute. Open your mouth for the people who can't speak for themselves, for those headed toward destruction. Open your mouth, judge righteously, and totally stand up for the poor and the needy. Like, who can even find a truly virtuous woman? She's worth way more than rubies, like priceless vibes, only her husband's heart trusts her so hard. He has zero worries about lacking anything. She brings him good, not evil, every single day of her life. She's out here looking for wool and flax, working enthusiastically with her hands like a boss. She's merchant ships, always bringing in the good stuff from far away. She gets up super early, even while it's still night, and hooks up food for her household and portions for her girls. She checks out a field and buys it, and with her own hustle, she plants a whole vineyard. She gears up with strength and totally flexes her strong arms. She sees that her merch is legit good, and her candle is never out at night. She puts her hands to the spindle and grabs that distaff like a crafting queen. She stretches out her hands to the poor and reaches out to the needy like it's second nature. She's not scared of snow for her household. They're all decked out in warm scarlet fits. She makes herself gorgeous coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is literally silk and purple. Her husband is known at the city gates when he sits among the elders of the land, like he's respected because she's amazing too. She makes fine linen and sells it, delivering belts and garments to the merchants like a pro. Strength and honor are basically her outfit, and she totally rejoices about what's coming in the future. When she opens her mouth, it's all wisdom, and her tongue is basically the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of her household and doesn't indulge in lazy vibes. Her kids stand up and call her blessed. Her husband also praises her big time. Lots of daughters have done amazing things, but you totally rise above them all. Charm is deceiving, and beauty is super fleeting. But a woman who fears the Lord, she's the one who deserves all the praise. Give her some of the fruit of her own hands, and let her own works hype her up in the city gates.